A legendary figure publicly humiliated on live television, a faith tainted by a liberal. Will the public stand by and let this happen? It doesn't deserve to be present at this recording. The words came sharply from the liberal host, his voice as firm as a command. A direct challenge, his gaze filled with prejudice, fixed upon Tom Hanks' necklace, a legend of American cinema. What was wrong with the host? Tom Hanks was slightly taken aback, but he quickly reacted, and what he said next silenced the entire room. The studio lights shone brightly onto the luxurious seating of the Free Thinker Show, a program known for its heated debates between guests and its famous host, Jeremy Collins. An absolute liberal, Jeremy often used his show as a platform to challenge traditional beliefs and viewpoints. But today his guest was Tom Hanks. "Take it off now." Jeremy repeated his request. His curt words silenced the audience, directing all attention to the necklace around Tom Hanks' neck, a small cross. There was no need to introduce Tom Hanks. Everyone knew the legendary actor, and everyone knew his faith. That necklace was proof of it. It represented the belief Tom held in God. It stood out against his crisp white shirt and neatly tailored blue suit. Tom sat composedly, but he never expected to receive such a demand, more precisely, an offensive order. Unconsciously, he raised his hand to his necklace. "Is there something wrong with my necklace?" Tom gave a slight smile, looking Jeremy straight in the eyes. Jeremy shrugged. "Because it represents outdated, old-fashioned beliefs, and no offense, but it might make some people uncomfortable. It doesn't deserve to be present at this recording." Murmurs grew louder among the audience. Some boos were hurled toward the stage. Yes, everyone could see that Tom's faith was being insulted by this man. Tom tilted his head, his gaze sharp yet calm. "Jeremy, I respect your program, but I don't think that having faith is something to be hidden or ashamed of." Tom's composed response silenced the room. The murmurs ceased. The audience seemed to hold their breath, waiting for his next words. Leaning back slightly in his chair, he added, "Religion is not something outdated or obsolete. It holds deep meaning for many people, including myself. I'm not sure anyone feels uncomfortable with this pendant except you, Jeremy." Tom's clear and articulate rebuttal did not make Jeremy realize the issue. Jeremy chuckled. "Then can you prove that God exists?" Tom smiled. "I wasn't fortunate enough to live in that era. But no one can prove that God doesn't exist either, can they?" Applause and cheers broke the tense atmosphere between the two men. The audience was thrilled by their exchange. Tom smiled gently, his fingers brushing against the small silver cross on his chest. "I believe in God, and that is a part of my life." Jeremy's stance remained unyielding. He smirked, leaning back in his chair. "Interesting. But don't you think that a public figure like yourself openly expressing faith could have a negative impact on modern society? I mean, we live in a world of reason, science, and progress." "I am very sorry that my necklace makes you uncomfortable. But you see, it is not merely a piece of jewelry. This is my faith. I do not expect us to share the same beliefs. The least I need from you is respect, coming from a progressive person, just as you are demonstrating." Tom's profound composure made Jeremy frown slightly. He hesitated for a moment but quickly regained his confidence. "I simply rely on science and reason, not ancient legends." Tom replied slowly, "Jeremy, I am not here to engage in a theological debate, but I can say that my faith is not based on coercion or superstition. It comes from personal experience, from moments in life when I have felt something greater than myself. To me, this cross is not just a symbol, but a reminder of hope, compassion, and forgiveness." Jeremy pressed his lips together, determined not to be defeated so easily. "Tom, then what do you think about the fact that religion has caused so much suffering in the world? Look at wars, terrorist attacks in the name of God. How can you defend something that has caused so much pain?" Tom smirked slightly. "Jeremy, if I give you a knife, you can use it to cook or to kill someone. But when a person abuses that knife for evil, do we blame the knife? Or do we blame the person holding it? Religion does not cause suffering. It is human greed and hatred that are the real culprits." Jeremy opened his mouth to speak, but Tom continued, "If I said that science once created atomic bombs that killed hundreds of thousands of people, would you blame science? Would you call for people to abandon science? No, because we understand that the problem lies in how humans use it. So why, when some exploit religion for evil purposes, do you hold the entire faith responsible?" The audience erupted in applause. Jeremy blushed, feeling cornered. But very quickly, Jeremy crossed his arms, a glint of provocation flashing in his eyes. Then what do you think about the crimes that religion has condoned? About the crusades, about the witch hunts? If faith is as good as you say, then why has so much brutality accompanied it? Tom's gaze seemed to sink into distant contemplation. He wandered through the past, and then settled with firm conviction. I will not defend the mistakes of history. But you know as well as I do that it was not faith that created those atrocities, it was people. People who were greedy, cruel, and who abused belief to serve their own ambitions. Remember, how many acts of humanity, how many charitable organizations, how many great individuals have also taken faith as their foundation. If you only look at the darkness and ignore the light, is that truly a fair perspective? Jeremy raised an eyebrow, a flicker of hesitation flashing across his face. But he was not one to concede so easily. Then why can't we have morality without religion? I can still be a good person without believing in God. Hearing these words, Tom's eyes reflected sympathy, tinged with a hint of regret for the stubborn man before him. Of course you can. But ask yourself, where does the foundation of the morality we have today come from? Tom did not wait for Jeremy's answer. Laws, ethics, compassion, most of these values stem from a belief in something greater than ourselves. And even if you do not believe, you are still benefiting from a world shaped by these values. A heavy silence blanketed the studio. Jeremy pressed his lips together as if searching for a rebuttal. But Tom had struck too close to the heart of the matter. Tom looked Jeremy straight in the eye, his gaze filled with understanding. Jeremy, I am not here to force anyone to believe in anything. I only wish to say that faith is a part of me, just as reason is a part of you. If I can respect your way of thinking, then why can't you respect my belief? Jeremy fell silent, unable to find a counter-argument. Simply put, he did not have enough reasoning to defeat a faith so profound. Murmurs rose from the audience below. They had just witnessed a rare defeat for Jeremy on stage. Many among them believed in God. They felt uncomfortable with Jeremy's attitude. Boos of discontent grew louder. It's disgraceful for him to bring our revered God into such a discussion. More and more voices criticized. The rising wave of disapproval even made the studio director uneasy. The recording was halted immediately after that. But everything was just the beginning. The interview quickly went viral on social media. Praise for Tom Hanks' sharp and quick-witted response spread across forums. In contrast to Tom, Jeremy was an absolute disaster. After the shocking interview, public opinion exploded with strong reactions to Jeremy Collins' attitude. Social media was flooded with posts condemning his rudeness and bias. Religious organizations, celebrities, and neutral audiences all voiced their disappointment over how Jeremy treated Tom. They did not just criticize him for the recent interview, but also brought up past instances where he mocked the beliefs of other guests on his show. Jeremy's past sarcastic remarks were dug up, fueling a powerful wave of backlash. Jeremy likely never anticipated that one day his extreme rationalism would come at a cost. Many sponsors quickly withdrew, not wanting to be associated with a show perceived as biased and personally attacking guests. Major media outlets began questioning the neutrality and ethics of the Freethinker show, putting pressure on its management. Not long after, the show was officially suspended indefinitely. Jeremy Collins, once an influential figure in the media industry, had now become the focal point of criticism. He tried to justify his actions, but all his efforts proved futile in the face of relentless public backlash. A fitting end for one who disregarded faith, Jeremy Collins announced his withdrawal from the media industry. 2 years passed, and people gradually forgot the name Jeremy Collins. Stepping away from the spotlight, he continued his life with a simple business. Yet Jeremy came to realize many things. After the show was taken off the air and faced with the most negative comments, he still could not understand why faith was so powerful. Seeking the truth, he began visiting churches in his area every week. Jeremy gradually recognized his mistakes. No more spotlights, no more arrogance in front of the camera, just Jeremy standing before God, the very figure he once believed to be unreal. There, in silence, he confronted himself. The public criticism not only damaged his career but also made him reflect on how he had treated others. Jeremy slowly became aware of his own faith. One day, by sheer coincidence, Jeremy met Tom Hanks again at a charity event. He was no longer the self-satisfied host he used to be, but a more humble man. When the two met, Jeremy bowed his head, his voice trembling slightly. "Tom, I was wrong. I was too arrogant and did not respect what you believed in. I truly regret it." Tom looked at Jeremy, his eyes filled with compassion. Everyone makes mistakes, Jeremy. What matters is what we learn from them. I hope you use this lesson to change. Jeremy nodded. I want to do something more meaningful. I want to help those who were hurt by my words. I don't know where to start, but I know I can't continue down the same path. Tom smiled and patted Jeremy on the shoulder. Change begins from within. If you truly want to do good, then act. Listen more, understand more, and use your voice to build rather than destroy. In the months that followed, Jeremy Collins immersed himself in charity work, supporting religious and social organizations and helping the less fortunate. He used his experience to warn others about the dangers of arrogance and hasty judgment. Jeremy's story became a testament to redemption and sincere repentance. He was no longer the arrogant man who once appeared on television, but someone striving to make amends. And as for Tom Hanks, he did not just win a debate, he helped a man find a better path in life. This story is not just about a dramatic confrontation, but a lesson in tolerance, humility, and the power of change. Whether one has faith or not, the most important thing is how we treat one another. Respect, compassion, and forgiveness can turn enemies into friends and transform arrogance into repentance. What do you think of this ending? Leave a comment below. And don't forget to follow us for more compelling stories.